be talking about the structural organization in animal. आपके जो बुक में एनसीईआरटी बुक में अभी जो रिसेंट नया बुक है एनसीईआरटी के, तो उसमें मेंशन है बस फ्रॉग और एक इंसेक्ट। इंसेक्ट भी मेंशन नहीं है, कोई भी एक इंसेक्ट ले सकते हैं। तो जो पुराने एनसीईआरटी में हम लोग पढ़ते थे तो उसमें है एक तो है ये टिश्यू सिस्टम। टिश्यू सिस्टम आपको जानना बहुत ही जरूरी है, क्योंकि आप आगे जितने भी पढ़ते जाएंगे ना तो टिश्यू सिस्टम बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है आपके एनसीईआरटी बुक के हिसाब से। मतलब एनडीए के जो सिलेबस में है ना उसमें भी टिश्यू सिस्टम मेंशन ही है, तो वो पढ़ेंगे हम लोग पुराने एनसीईआरटी से। ओके, उसे फॉलो करेंगे, जो भी पीवाईक्यूज है उसके ऊपर बेस्ड करके हम ये लेक्चर को फॉलो करेंगे। उसके बाद जो है फ्रॉग तो आप लोग पढ़ेंगे। उसके बाद जो एक इंसेक्ट का जो एनाटॉमी है, उसका जो लाइफ साइकिल है, इंसेक्ट अबाउट टॉक अबाउट इंसेक्ट दैट इज स्पेशली कॉकरोच। ओके, so this is the very first class, and in this class we will be talking about the structural organization in animal. Okay, but we'll talk about the structural organization in animal. So let's talk about it then. Okay, so let's talk. The very first thing we need to know is the tissue. Okay, तो आप लोग मुझे बता सकते हैं कि in case of a unicellular organism, all the function of the life function, all the metabolic function, just like the excretion, reproduction, and all that happen within a cell. Yes or no? Yes. Okay. So in case of the unicellular organism, just like the amoeba, paramecium, all the metabolic processes occurs in a single cell. But in case of the multicellular organism, what happens here is the life processes like the metabolism, all the metabolic processes like the respiration, reproduction, all that happens in a group of cell, and that group of cell is called as the tissue. You know, right? Okay. So let me just write that in unicellular organism, all life processes in single cell, but in multicellular organism, there is specific cell. Like, let's suppose talk about the liver cell. Liver cell है hepatocyte. That is a specific kind of cell that makes the liver, right? In suppose we talk about the neural system, there is a special cell called as the neurons. Like all the organism have a specific cell just to perform a specific function, and they are called as the multicellular organisms. Okay, so you'll ask me, what is a tissue then? A tissue is a group of cells along with their intercellular substances when they perform a specific function. They are called as tissue. So what is a tissue then? It is a group of cells with their intercellular substances. When they perform a specific function, they will be called as a tissue. So what is a tissue? Group of cell and intercellular substances. So they will be called as the tissue. Again, you will ask me, then what is an organ then? What is an organ? Organ is the same thing that we are talking about, the tissue. That a specific proportion of tissue with a specific function form an organ with specialized function. Okay. Again, what is the organ system then? What is the organ system? What is an organ system? Organ system is when two or more organs participate in similar function, just like our, what is the example? Circulatory system. In the circulatory system, what happens? Two or more organs like lungs and heart, they both participate to do a circulation, to run a circulatory system, right? So we talk about the unicellular organism where all the life process was happening inside a cell only. Then the multicellular organism where there were specific cell, they were doing some specific function. Then after the cell there come a tissue level of organization. What happened here? The group of cell along with their intercellular substances, they form a, they do a specific function and they form a tissue. Then there comes the organ, a tissue at a proportion, at a specific proportion. Suppose for say in the heart cell, the proportion of tissue of a specific, like we will be talking about all the types of tissue just in the next, like in the next line only. Like there are four kinds of tissue. One is the epithelial tissue, then the muscular tissue, then the connective tissue, and then the neural tissue. So if a heart has a specific proportion of all the four tissue, then the lungs will have some different proportion of all the four kinds of tissue. That is this line means to say that all the organs are made of the same tissue but at a different proportion. Okay. Then there comes the organ system. Organ system, we talk about circulatory system where there is the involvement of two organs, that is lungs and heart. Okay. So let's just talk about the next part, that is there are four different kind of tissue system that we can see inside a living organism. Okay. There are mainly four different kinds of tissue. So what are they? What are the four different kinds of tissue system? First is the epithelial tissue. First is the epithelial tissue. Then connective tissue. Then we have muscular tissue. And then finally we have neural tissue. Okay. So what are the four different kinds of tissue system that can be found inside a living organism? Epithelial tissue, connective, muscular, and neural. Okay. Let me give you an analogy. Suppose we are making a house. What we are making? We are making a house. The very first thing we will require will be the strength to the house. So what will give the strength, support to the house? The pillars and the walls. Right? First one is the pillar. Just seeing in case of animal, the connective tissue. This connective tissue gives support to the living system. It gives support. Okay. Then comes the muscular system. We have to move from our house to another house, and we need a locomotion. We need a locomotive channel through which we can pass. That will be the muscular tissue. That will help us in locomotion. Then we have epithelial tissue. All the houses In the recent time, we cannot survive without electricity, and that's how we need the electricity system. We need control and coordination. But we need control and coordination that will be done by the neural system. Okay, I hope you understand all the tissue system well. Okay, so now let's move to the next part, and we will be talking about all the systems in a detailed way. We will first talk about which one? We will first talk about the epithelial tissue system. Epithelial tissue system is very important from an exam point of view. There have been many questions asked every year. Every year questions come from this epithelial tissue system. Okay? Every year. So first we will talk about the epithelial tissue. We will first talk about the epithelial tissue. Okay? Very first point to note here is it has little intercellular spaces. It has very little intercellular spaces. Okay? What it is? It has little intercellular space. Okay? Just like this. These are 4 cells. Suppose we can see. Okay? But the intercellular space here is very little. Okay? This is the epithelial cell. Again, it helps in protection. We know. Okay? It gives a free surface. It gives a free surface. So the skin of our body is the epithelial tissue. It is giving a free surface for other molecule, or it is kind of like it is facing the blood, or it is facing the body fluid, right? Okay, the word epithelium means upon something. Upon. Epi means upon. That means this system is rest upon. So epithelial tissue do not have a base. It requires the basement membrane for its placement. It requires the basement, just like this. See, this is the epithelial cell. Okay, just below it will be a basement membrane, and just below it will be the connective tissue. Just write it. Okay, so this is the epithelial cell. Then this small simple layer you can see here is the basement membrane. This basement membrane is actually made out of glycoprotein and mucopolysaccharide. This is made up of basement membrane, glycoprotein and mucopolysaccharide. Mucopolysaccharide is also called as the hyaluronic acid. Okay, and just below it there is the they are highly muscular. We will talk about the connective tissue also in the later classes. So the connective tissue are highly muscular. They will provide the nutrition and gaseous exchange will occur through the connective tissue to the epithelial cell. Epithelial cell is non-muscular. Okay, Alter. Then let's talk about also one important point. I forgot to mention here that it faces the outer environment or body fluid. What do you mean by this line? It faces the outer environment of the body fluid. How? Like, there are two types of epithelium, mainly based on like where it is present. Okay. If it is just lining your organ, suppose the cell is lining our heart. So this is a human. This is a human. Okay. This is a human. Its heart is here. The body fluid will all be here. If it is lining a organ, then it will face the body fluid, simple. And if it is lining just like our skin, if the epithelium is present on the skin, it will face the outer surface. You understand now? Okay. So now let's just move towards our next topic. We talk about the epithelial cell. Also one important line there. The lining of the epithelial tissue is irregular. I will just write it here. Lining of the lining of the epithelial cell is irregular. Then it is irregular. That means this is the epithelial cell. The lining is not clear. The boundary is not in a specific shape. Okay? The boundary is irregular. Okay? So we are talking about the epithelial tissue. So what we have talked so far is it has a little intercellular spaces. It gives free surface. Upon means epi, and that means is rest of the. It faces the outer environment or the body fluid. Then this is the epithelial. This is the structure of the epithelial cell. The lining of the epithelial cell is irregular. Okay. So let's just talk about the next. Based on the type, epithelium can be of two types. What are they? It can be a it it almost always acts as a diffusing membrane or layer. I hope you understand that this is simple epithelium. Simple epithelium is single layer and it is too thin that it acts as a diffusing membrane. Similarly, for the compound, it is made up of multi-layer of epithelium. Multiple epithelium. Okay. So what it will do? It will help in protection. Its primary function is to protect the organs. Okay. So if it is simple epithelium look like this, then the compound epithelium will look something like this. It will look something like this. Okay. So this is a compound epithelium. Okay. Okay. So we talk about the simple epithelium and the compound epithelium. When we talk about the type of simple epithelium, like simple epithelium has one single layer only. It helps in the acts as a diffusion membrane, and the compound epithelium, this is a multiple layer and that acts as a for the protection of the cell. Okay, I am erasing all the information because now we will make a tabular structure. Okay, we will make a tabular structure now, and that is very important. Okay. So all the simple epithelium all the epithelium can be classified into three groups. That is the squamous epithelium, then the cuboidal epithelium, and the columnar epithelium. This is based on the structure. This is based on the structure only. So we will talk about all the three. First, here we will write about squamous epithelium. Then we will talk about the cuboidal epithelium. Then the columnar epithelium. Okay. So let's talk about it then. Okay. The very first squamous epithelium, I'll first draw the structure, then I will write where they are found, then I will write how they look, and then finally I will give the example. Okay. Okay, so this is the structure of a squamous epithelium. Then this will be the cuboidal epithelium. and here cells are slender and tall. Okay, this is the first difference between squamous, epidermal and columnar. I will explain after writing this. Okay, so this will be present at the alveoli, Bowman's capsule. Just simply I am writing it present at. Okay, epidermal epithelium is present at ducts of glands, tubular part of nephron, and it is found in the inner lining of stomach and intestine. Okay, then primary function of squamous epithelium, it acts as a diffuser layer, and its function is secretion and absorption. Similar for columnar epithelium also, its function is secretion and absorption. Here, nucleus is round and at center. Here, the nucleus is at the base and oval. Okay. So let's discuss now. So what happens in case of squamous epithelium is, it is the flattened cell. The cells are flattened. They are very less, like their height is very small. They are flattened like this. Okay. In case of cuboid epithelium, as the name suggests, the cell looks like a cube. The cell looks like a cube. So it is the cube-like cell, cuboidal. Okay. In case of the columnar epithelium, you can see the cells are slender and tall. They are long and very narrow. Okay. Similarly, they are found in the alveoli, in the Bowman's capsule, and where also in blood capillaries. Also remember one word, that is endothelium. What happened here is, this is a blood capillary and the simple squamous epithelium, they form a layer around the capillary. Okay, this will be called as the endothelium. Okay, this is a blood capillary. So where we have it, right? It is present in the alveoli, in the Bowman's capsule, where it can absorb the Bowman's capsule is where it is present in the nephron, where it will absorb all the water and all the minerals. Okay, in the blood capillaries, so that there will be exchange, very easy exchange of gases can be possible there. In the alveoli, in the lungs, where there will be easily the gases oxygen exchange could be occur there. So it acts as a diffusing layer. The cube-like cell, they are present in the ducts of plant, where they can secrete. In the tubular part of nephron, where they can absorb water. So their main function is secretion and absorption. And here you can see also the nucleus is round and placed at the center of the cell. Okay. In case of the columnar epithelium, the cell are slender and tall, inner lining of stomach just to absorb the nutrients and water. They are present in the stomata intestine. Then we have secretion and absorption. They help in the secretion also. The nucleus is at the base and it is oval. So I hope you are clear about all the topic, right? Okay. So let's move towards the very next topic, like there are also, okay, I just want to mention that this simple epithelium, tubular epithelium and the columnar epithelium, they can be complex also. If they are complex, so what they will be called? Compound squamous epithelium, a stratified squamous epithelium, stratified columnar epithelium and stratified tubular epithelium. They are also present in different part of the cell. Okay. In different part of the organ, they are also present. We will talk about them at the end of this chapter, where I will give you specific example of why they are found. The stratified epithelium. Okay. Now just let's talk about the very first one, that is the cuboidal and columnar epithelium. They have some projection above them. Okay, on that basis we have two types of cell. One is the microvilli projection and another one is the cilia, presence of cilia. Okay, what happens in these microvilli? Suppose this is a cell and there are finger-like projection. This is also called as the brush. Okay, this is the nucleus and this is the microvilli. The microvilli, as here you can see that there is the increase of the surface area. So what will happen if the surface area will increase? The rate of absorption will be maximum. Okay, diffusion or like absorption will be maximum. So in the area where we need maximum absorption, we will place this kind of cell. The very important example that is also given in NCERT has come many times in the exam is PCT of nephron. It has microvilli. So what is the cilia? Cilia is the structure that is present like this on the cilia is present on the upper side of the surface of the in the cuboidal epithelium. Here what happens that it moves particle in one direction. It will move the particle in one direction. For example, bronchioles in the fallopian tube. So here you can see in the microvilli what happens. There is a brush-shaped structure in the PCT of nephron that increase the surface area. It might be clear. It increase the surface area, maximum absorption, and here it moves the particle in one direction, just like the bronchiole. What happens in the bronchiole? Whenever there will be the like the air, when air is coming from the nostril, it will move the air in one direction only. Okay, so that is how this ciliated epithelium are present in the bronchiole and will move the air in only one direction. Similarly for the fallopian tube. The fallopian tube, if the ciliated cell will be present there, they will move the air in one direction only. That's how there we will lead the ciliated epithelium. Okay. Okay. So this is done. Then there are some other type of like the columnar and cuboidal epithelium. They are glandular. But they are glandular gland, or it can be multicellular. The unicellular plant, the example is the goblet cell of intestine. So what does goblet cell of intestine does? It secretes mucus. It secretes mucus. Okay, let me just draw a picture of it so that you can understand better. This is the intestine layer. These are the microvilli are present, and there is the presence of the mucus that will move all the substance in one direction. Okay, so this is the goblet cell, that is the unicellular gland, and the multicellular gland is that is the our salivary gland. Our salivary gland is multicellular. Okay. Okay. So this cell you can see here is the goblet cell. And what it will secrete? It will secrete the mucus, and they are present in the intestine. Okay. So we have the last one. That is the this gland, based on what they secrete, can be divided into three groups. This glands, based on what they secrete, can be divided into three groups, that are exocrine gland, then we have endocrine gland, and we have like the mixocrine gland, or it is also called as the heterocrine gland. So we have, based on what this gland secrete, we have three type of glands are there. First one is the exocrine gland. It releases, exocrine gland, the product releases, it releases the product through ducts. They are duct having gland. They are ductless gland. And releases the chemical or the substance, the product, directly into the blood. Okay. So what are the example of the exocrine gland? That is like we have like the what are the exocrine gland? Like in the endocrine gland, we have hormones, right? In the exocrine gland, we have mammary gland, then we have salivary gland, we have so many glands. Also there is a secretion of like mucus, saliva is salivary gland, and there are so many glands actually that are mentioned in the book, but the very important are the mammary and the salivary glands, and endocrine gland, they secrete hormones, right? Just like the like what pancreas, we can it secretes both like hormones and enzymes, right? So one example of both, like one example of exocrine gland is pancreas. We will be talking about all of this in some other chapters, but body fluid and like we will talk about this in our next chapter only, in the physiology chapter, where we will talk about the control and coordination. Here we will talk about all the exocrine, endocrine and exocrine. Okay. So I am giving you some major example of some stratified plant. The very first one is the stratified squamous epithelium that are present in the buccal cavity, in the esophagus. Okay. Again, we have transitional epithelium that is present in the urinary bladder, in the urinary bladder. So why this transitional epithelium is present in the urinary bladder? Because it is the very fast reason is it is water resistant, and it is stretchable also. Okay. Also, in our next chapter, we will be talking about the types of compound epithelium in our next class. Okay, we will start from there only. For now, all this. Okay. So in this class, we talk about the tissue. What is the tissue? Then we talk about the epithelium, like the 4 kind of tissue. It is the epithelial tissue, then the connective tissue, then the muscular tissue, and then the neural tissue. There are 4 kind of tissue. We first talk about the epithelial tissue, where we talk about simple epithelium and compound epithelium. In that, we talk about the squamous epithelium. In the simple epithelium, we talk about the squamous epithelium, then the cuboidal epithelium and the columnar epithelium. Then we talk about the microvilli and the cilia. After that, we talk about the unicellular gland and the multicellular gland. After that, we talk about the exocrine, endocrine and exocrine gland. Okay, and this is some example. Then we will talk about the compound epithelium and all the example in the next